G'day everybody and welcome to Marvel Time Lapse, where we go on a journey learning about time-lapse photography. You'll have to excuse me looking over to the side here, that's where my script is. Now, as I mentioned in my last video, I'm a total newbie about time-lapse photography. And I'm pretty much an amateur photographer. I'm not a professional photographer by any means. But, as with a lot of things, I thought the best way to learn about this was to jump in, boots and all. And learn by trial and error. And I hope from your comments and questions too, we can all learn together. Now, coming up over the next few videos, I'm going to be doing a comparison of using different cameras and different things for doing time-lapse photography. So, for instance, my iPhone, my iPad, my normal Canon camera, and the specialised time-lapse camera that I've got. So we'll see which one is best, which one works best, which one's got the best pictures, and how easy they are to use and how easy they are to achieve the aim of a good time-lapse photography. I also have some plant growth sequences, so things about growing plants, about some flowers coming up, which didn't quite work out the way I wanted them to, but it's still interesting, and for me it's interesting, and for learning how to do, and for knowing what not to do next time. They're a good example of how things can go wrong. Okay, but all of that's coming up in the future. For today, I thought I'd look at the joy of a new toy. We all do it. You get a new toy and you start to play. And getting this time-lapse camera was no different. The camera arrived on a Wednesday, and on the Thursday morning, off we went. We were going on a tour to a place called Khao Ko. Now, Khao Ko is a place in Thailand which has some really tall mountains. They're actually above the sort of the low cloud level, so it's not unusual in a lot of places. You can get to a point where you can actually look down on some of the clouds, and Khao Ko is really famous for being able to look down onto the top of the clouds. Perfect for time-lapse video, right? And being on a tour, we get to visit a few places, giving us many opportunities to use the time-lapse camera in different situations and different sort of types of videos. So these are all perfect for time-lapse video, right? Yeah, no, unfortunately Murphy's in charge of the world, and by the time we got to the first viewing point, the sun had already burnt away most of the clouds, so we just had some light mist. But on the other hand, lots of people going in and out of the viewing point. We've got several carloads of people, or several ute loads really, of people going in and out of this viewing point. So there's lots of people, lots of movement, lots of action. And I think I ended up with quite a good time-lapse video, although it wasn't what I originally thought I was going to get. I was using about 1 frame per second, which means 25 frames to make 1 second of video. That's 25 seconds to make 1 second of video. So it takes a while. That's the thing about time-lapse photography. It does take time, and you have to have the time. We're on a tour, so we only had the amount of time allotted, and trying to find a good spot to put the camera, trying to get good moments and good videos. It all takes time. And our second stop was another viewing point, which had a great view of the valley, but again, as most of the clouds were gone, there wasn't really that much to see. So I thought, okay, there's some wind, a bit of wind, and the trees are blowing around in the wind. Let's see if I can get some photo of that. Now again, I was using around about 1 frame per second, maybe half a frame, 1 frame every half a second. So it takes a while, but I was able to condense, but it was less exciting. There wasn't so much big dramatic movement from the trees. It was just sort of more of flickering and fluttering. So, as you can see, not really all that fantastic. Moving on to the next stop, I was trying to get cloud movement. This was a big cafe, coffee shop, restaurant type of thing. Great viewing platform outside. A whole heap of other tourist things around so lots of people coming and going. Got a great view out of this other valley, and got some sort of view of the clouds going across. But the most exciting thing here was the sunlight moving, shining through the clouds. So we're getting shadow of the clouds on the land. So that was actually an interesting landscape, and probably would have been really great if I'd had more time to do it. So we started off on a place that was actually outside the cafe, and then we moved to a point that was a viewing point sort of connected to the inside of the cafe. The 2 points are about 50 metres apart, so it wasn't a huge, because we were looking a long way away, it wasn't a huge difference in the actual video, but you can actually see the difference with because you can't see the lower viewpoint. I'd moved 50 metres to the left, effectively. I think I got quite a good effect, but again, it's one of those things. You tell me what you think. It really needed something a bit more dramatic, I think. Maybe more dramatic, thicker clouds to make more shadow. But again, it's all learning, so that's the way I look at it. The next day we had an early start to go to another mountain viewing point, and this was wonderful, going up the mountain and thinking, all these clouds, this is going to be great. We're going to be able to... But it was a very long trip, and by the time we got there again, we were just too late for that beautiful, you've seen it in all the time-lapse videos before, clouds boiling and roiling in the valley, looking down from above. Yeah, no, we didn't get that. So instead of the strong movement of clouds below us, we just mostly got mist. And a little bit of clouds above, which was sort of okay, but yeah, not quite there. Again, being on tour, we couldn't spend hours and hours there and trying to find the right viewpoint. I actually used 2 different camera positions, and the second one was really good. The first one was a good viewpoint, but a little bit away from everything, so I couldn't really end up just sort of standing in the middle of nowhere trying to make sure no one walked off with my camera. Then of course, time was up. End of time for shooting video. We had to move on to the next stop, and this being Thailand and this being a tour in Thailand, the next stop was a market. Markets are great. Now, I only had a fairly short tripod. I was trying to sort of keep things small and easy to move around, not carrying a big tripod with me. And so I couldn't get the camera up really, really high. So I had to get a little bit of distance away from everything. I think I was using about 1 frame per second. So that's 25 frames for 1 second of video. So that's 25 seconds for 1 second of video. And I think I got a pretty good look at this market, sort of all the people coming and going, because the market's on the side of the road, you've got the cars coming through. And I think that worked quite well. Got 2 views, one sort of looking from where we were parked, looking down across the market, and the other one looking up to the sort of the rest of the market. Lastly, a couple of videos taken around the resort we were staying. Now the first one I thought, okay, I'm going to get that classical clouds moving across the sky, it all looked beautiful, and I thought I'll frame this with a couple of trees so I can do it from our cabin at the resort. Looking out, there's the trees, there's a bit of sky. Probably would have been good if I'd been a little bit closer to get more sky and less trees. And also probably would have been good if the clouds had sort of been moving a bit more. They were moving across and sort of disappearing halfway through the frame. So overall it was a little bit disappointing. But again, it's one of those things that you take your chance and you get what you come up with. So, but then I thought, okay, this isn't quite working out. I was looking at the videos that was happening and going, this isn't quite working out the way I want it to. So what else can I do while I'm here? I've only got a few more hours left. And you've got to think that way with time-lapse photography. You've got to think about how many hours you have left, because it's really down to such a long time. So I thought, okay, let's change. Let's go to taking a video of the shadow of the trees moving across the lawn. There's a beautiful big lawn in front of our cabin at this resort. I think you can actually see in this video. I'm not watching it as I'm speaking, but I think you can actually see in this video there's another cabin or 2 down below us. And you can see the movement of the shadows, and you can see a little bit of movement of wind in the trees. This one probably would have been good to like set up in the morning and just leave it for a whole day of just watching the shadows move across, using longer frame rates to get a much more dramatic movement over a shorter video. So these are my first attempts at time-lapse photography, and already I can see a lot of things I can do a lot better. If you've got any suggestions for things I could do better, or things you'd like to see more of, or any ideas, let me know in the comments down below. If you like any of the videos I've done and you want to see me explore those particular ideas more, whether it's the shadows moving on the ground, whether it's the movement of trees, whether it's clouds. So if you've got any ideas at all of any videos you want me to create or want me to learn about or want me to experiment with, let me know. I'm willing to spend days, even weeks, working on one particular idea if that's what interests you guys. So, for now, thanks a lot. I'll catch you later. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day or night, depending on where you are and what time you're watching this. And I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.